high on life.
It's like, it is a drug.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're just playing chemistry with your brain because like your dopamine spikes up, all these kind of chemicals in your body just go firing.
Yeah.
You're so exuberant after as well.
I seen a video you was getting out of sea the other day and you're like, yeah!
Just
and
shout.
I was like, that is exactly how you feel getting out of sea.
That's exactly what it is. That's what I love doing it though.
Yeah.
I love as well bringing people with me. Because it's all well and good do it by yourself.
Yeah.
But you look a bit crazy walking around the place screaming if you're just by yourself.
Fuck it, who cares?
You're dead right, Meg. You're dead right, who cares?
But I miss the sea so much because I'm working now 9 to 5, so I can't drive out to Portmarnock like I did during the summer.
Yeah.
Because the sun doesn't rise till really late.
I have to wait another 2-3 months.
Yeah.
That's it. Right, anyway, we're going to get into it. I'm going to go for it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. You're very welcome here. This is the James Hempton Show once again. And today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Meg Wrenn.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm very excited. I'm actually quite nervous as well.
You were saying that before. I was asked you beforehand, but this is the first podcast you've done.
First podcast I've been on, yeah.
I can't believe that.
I know.
I'm actually so surprised because you're so confident behind the camera. I just assumed that maybe you've done one before.
No, I actually haven't, and it's funny because I always tell people when they're having a conversation, like, never plan what you're going to say. Just say it as it comes and flows out of the mouth. And then even on the way out, I was like, I know what I'm going to say. I was like, I don't even know what he's going to ask.
That's the thing. And like, I would make kind of like a criteria for anyone that comes on as well and like have points that I want to hit. And this is the first night that I've done a podcast that I came up without the whiteboard. I normally have
really?
a whiteboard, yeah. But obviously when you're preparing for a podcast, you want to know what you're going to say. You know what I mean?
True.
But at the same time, there's so much in there already that just let it flow, let it happen, and just let it be. But I've been following your page for, I think, the last maybe 2-3 months. And I have to say, Meg, one thing in particular that kind of like blows me away is how well you express yourself. I think it's so well done. It's so interesting to watch. And my question, to kind of get the ball rolling here, is like, how would you find it so easy to express yourself? Bit of a big question to start with.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah.
Like me and my friend Jazz would always have deep conversations about ourselves, about our relationship and about growing up and stuff like that. So we were only speaking about this the other day. I feel my upbringing helped a lot. My mom was always so encouraging when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like, see the way the cameras are set up? She had them set up all the time in the house.
So you're just used to being in front of the camera?
Yeah, in front of the camera all the time. And I come from a big family. Like, I've 22 first cousins.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. So we were never, like, shy from talking or expressing how we were feeling.
Yeah.
And
which is a great way to be.
It is,
it
definitely.
really is.
And my mom was so encouraging. Like, she always put us into stage skills, always doing shows.
Oh, brilliant.
So I think that's a big reason why. And I was just always confident in school as well.
Yeah.
So
have you always had this inner confidence?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just kind of just flows naturally.
Yeah, I'm a bit nuts. And I think I was always nuts growing up. Like, when you look back on videos of me, my brother and sister, just like, they're actually crazy. I know we were kids, but I was never shy to tell someone what I thought or like...
That's brilliant, because how many kids are like discouraged from just expressing themselves? And you're just told, go, just be you.
Yeah.
And how long have you been posting online for then? Is that going on quite a while?
I dipped in and out of it years ago. I think because social media has become such a big thing now, I felt like it was nearly an invitation to do so.
Yeah.
But also years ago, I was a bit lost. I didn't know what I wanted in life, so I didn't feel like I could go online and share that. But I think when I was like 21, I started to find myself a little bit more. And I liked Instagram, and then I came off it, and then I went on it, and I kind of do that every now and then.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I have something to offer the world. I found a good understanding of myself, what I want, what I don't want, and worked through a lot of shit. So I feel now I'm like, oh, I'm actually at a stage that if I can do that, anyone can. So it's important that I share that message with people to know that they're never stuck.
Because it gives them an avenue, obviously, if they see that you can do it and you've been in that place before where you weren't maybe had that confidence in yourself just to go out there and post, but now you've got past that. Was it maybe a fear that you overcame, or was there anything like that? It was just the confidence of just posting.
Do you know what? To be quite honest, when I was in a relationship, for 3 years when I was younger, and it was an awful relationship. It wasn't very encouraging. Yeah. And once I get out of that, it's like a weight lifted. I was like, oh my God, I can breathe again. And because my mom was encouraging when I was a kid, that never changed. Yeah. So even when I was 21, 22, my mom was always like, oh, why don't you go for what you love? And then I just realised, I was like, wow, some people actually really hold us back. Yeah. And this is what I learned, that we go through stuff that might cause heartbreak or might feel impossible to get through. But when you do, you're just like, oh my God, I actually have so much power and strength in me. So I always hold that with everything that I do.
So you had to go through, obviously, maybe something that was quite difficult to get to where you are now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was the worst heartbreak of my life. It was an awful 3 years. And then when I came out, I was like, oh my God, no, I'm going to start again.
A fresh start.
Yeah, that taught me what I didn't want in life and that I was so deserving of more. I just seen myself in a different light and started going to counselling, just bettering myself.
Oh, interesting.
And then I got so much advice off friends, my mum, a counsellor, and people that were actually professional.
Yeah.
And because I was always good at expressing myself, when they taught me to do that a little bit more, I kept getting like a bigger pep in my step and becoming more confident to be me.
That's so interesting. So you're obviously suppressed for a period of time, you felt, while you were in that relationship.
Yeah, like...
And then it felt like the chains were just taken off and then you were just free to go again. Or did it take a bit of time to build yourself back up?
It did take a bit of time, like definitely did, because I feel like, I'll bring us back to when we're younger.
Yeah.
When we're a kid, how we learn is by our parents telling us things.
Exactly.
You know, okay, this is right, this is wrong. So we're programmed. Then when you're in a relationship for a certain amount of time, you think that's exactly what love is supposed to be. And that's what I thought it was for 3 years. When it was toxic love, it was the only love that I knew. So then leaving that, I had to unlearn things.
Yeah, that's so interesting, yeah.
After spending time with someone for 3 years and being told you're this and that, and then having arguments or he comments on me, who I am, or my appearance, it took me time to realise I'm not that. I'm actually so much more than that, and I deserve better in my life. So when you come out the other side of something, I think it's a load of shit, sorry, some things that people tell us we are, because it's not true.
Okay. Jeez, that's I had no idea, but that's an amazing insight.
Yeah, and
really
I know
is.
it's very deep, but like that would be my line in the sand. I don't want anyone thinking that I just woke up and I was born out of the womb and I just became who I am today. No.
It's all the experience that came before you to
Absolutely.
bring you to where you're here now. And with that as well, so with the self-expression, you're doing it incredibly well, because there's almost no side of you that you don't show, and everything that you do display, it's articulated, it's very easy to understand. And it's a very clear message, you know, you're promoting a lot of positivity into the world, and you're obviously creating a great community as well. Another thing that interests me very much so, and I know your interest as well, is meditation. What has meditation done for you, and when did that journey begin for you as well?
I had such an interest in meditation for years. Yeah. But the interest didn't really go anywhere, because every time I tried to meditate, like I'd start twitching, you know, when you're like opening an eye, and I just couldn't settle.
Couldn't sit still.
Yeah, and I just felt like I just wanted to do it because it seemed cool. Yeah. And then I think, as we were speaking, when I moved back from Spain, and I just wanted a more chill life after partying and stuff. I was like, I just want to become a bit more level-headed. So I practiced meditation more and more. And then I said, okay, I can't sit in my room and just teach myself how to do that all the time. So then I went to guided meditations. I started attending different classes.
Oh, brilliant.
And then with that, because I really honour human connection, so when I'm guided by somebody else, it's so much more easier for me to go inner, because I feel safe in that environment. Yeah. Like your environment is everything.
Oh, 100% is. You have to feel comfortable in it as well.
Yeah. So with meditating, it's taught me how to not react as much. I was a very reactive person before. I'd just say exactly what was on my mind. If I was angry, I'd just show it. And now I just need to pull back, and it's taught me to analyse before I speak, because not everything I have to say is going to serve someone's life when it's 100%. Not done in a good approach.
And being reactive as well, you could put someone down, or you know, act in a manner that may be aggressive, or you know, just maybe even offend them. That's the great thing I think I've personally as well learned from meditation, is you have that second pause in between when you're going to. It's almost either respond or react. You can be very reactive, and reactive is like from a place of emotion. You've been triggered maybe in some sense, or maybe they said something to you, and then it's just this whole emotional outburst, and you never look like the good person when it does happen. So I think that's one thing definitely that meditation I think can teach anyone is like emotional control.
100%.
Which is absolutely massive. And where were these group meditations that you started off doing originally?
So, as I said, I was doing them online.
Yeah. And then, it was online, was it?
Yeah, I was doing it online, but then I actually started going to, it's called Tara Kadampa. It's in Temple Oak. It's a Buddhist centre.
Oh, I think I've seen that on your story not so long ago. Yeah. Do you go there often?
So, I was for a while, but just like anything, I don't want it to run its course, and I want to continue to be in love with it. Okay. So, I always make sure I feel called to doing something. I don't like to force myself to do it. Oh, interesting. So, I attended the meditations there, which is a Buddhist meditation. There's no music to guide you. It's just someone's voice, and it's a lot of silence.
Oh, wow.
So you sit in the chair and you like gaze down, and your hands are like this. So the energy is like flowing through the body. But then you have like Chinese meditation. You have different meditations types.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's also, you probably follow Yin Yoga Jen.
I do. Yeah.
Absolutely love her meditations. I feel like we don't connect with everybody, and that's absolutely all right.
Of course.
I've gone to some meditations, I couldn't go deep, I couldn't go inner. But Yin Yoga Jen, love her. And Martina is her friend as well. She does meditations in, I think it's Cabra, on a Monday night. I just feel like I can really relax, because
you feel safe in that space, is it?
I do feel safe in them spaces, because I know they're doing the work on themselves, and they practice what they preach, and they put it into practice.
But that's literally the person you want to go to.
Exactly.
That already experienced what you want to experience.
Yeah.
Somewhat so, yeah.
And they have the knowledge, so when they're guiding me, I just feel like I can relax. I also feel like it's the feminine energy. I always just feel really relaxed around. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so would you ever meditate by yourself then?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And how would you normally follow? Like, is it like an app, or is it music meditation, or what is it in particular?
It depends on the morning. Yeah. Like, for example, I always wake up and analyse what my dreams were like.
Oh, interesting.
Like, for example, a few weeks ago.
Do you dream all the time?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Every night?
Most nights, yeah.
No way.
So I heard something recently. It was like, you can reprogram your subconscious mind just before you go to sleep. And I shared a video about that recently, which is so important. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't sit there every single night. There's some nights I'm on my phone until I go to sleep. And then there's some nights that like I'm conscious of it. So I put my phone down way before I sleep.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking at someone and you're comparing yourself, and then you're going to sleep, you're probably going to have nightmares about the fears of comparing and not feeling yourself. For example, if I wake up and I'm like, oh, I haven't let go of something and I want to forgive myself, I'll do a guided meditation on forgiveness. So I can put that to bed and then go about my day. There's some days I want to wake up and dance my ass off and not meditate. Yeah. It's all a form of meditation. It just depends.
Everything is.
Yeah. I personally feel that.
I think so. I agree with that. And I think when you're meditating, you're much more mindful of everything got to do with life. So it means like everything becomes more mindful. Everything you do in life, which is really interesting. But plugging into your subconscious, what would you normally... Is there affirmations you're saying to yourself before you fall asleep, or what is it in particular? Are you trying to visualize or manifest something into your life?
I love this. Like, I actually get tingles in my body when people ask me about this stuff, because you know the way people say you don't know the difference between real and fake?
Yes.
Your mind doesn't know the difference.
It doesn't, not at all.
For example, how I learned this, and it wasn't intentional. Years ago when I was going through a breakup, I remember being on the bus and like replaying something that had happened in my mind. And all the emotions came back. All the emotions came back. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not living that. Like, that's not real. So how am I feeling that? So then I was like, oh, if I can do that with bad emotions, I can do that with good emotions.
Exactly.
There's a video that I love to watch on Instagram. I just saved it. It's real. It's a girl in the Bahamas and she's lying on the beach. So I watch that sometimes. And then when I go to sleep, I never struggle to sleep.
Yeah. I think that's one of the massive things of meditation as well.
Never.
You always just drift off. I think it's the ease that it's just in your body.
It
is. You
is.
just always feel at ease.
And then I lie there and pretend that I'm on the beach in my mind and just tell myself lovely things and I fall asleep.
That's
I'm not in the Bahamas every single night. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some nights that I'm like, right, telling myself to go to sleep and trying to think of nice things. Yeah, I either picture myself in a place that I love, or I play affirmations on YouTube. Sorry, I'm trying to think of... Wayne Dyer is his name.
Yeah.
He does a 3-hour rewire your brain.
Interesting.
Your subconscious.
And you just fall asleep to the sound of his voice.
Yeah, and then my mum comes in, she has to turn the telly off because I fell asleep.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. I love that. And like, I think one thing to highlight here as well is that like you've got your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And I think with meditation as well, it's really key because you're always tapping into that consciousness that's there. And is there anything you feel when your eyes are closed and you're meditating away and maybe you have someone playing an affirmation in the background or saying something such as forgiveness or love or kindness? Where does your mind go to when you go deep into meditation? What do you experience when you go into deeper levels? Like if the duration of time has passed and you keep going deeper and deeper and you're more focused on your breath and you realize you get to a point where you're still in your mind. There's no more thoughts coming. It's really just focusing on the experience of your breath and kind of whatever is coming in. Because I have felt personally speaking as well, there has been times when I'm meditating and it's almost very hard to explain, but when your eyes are closed and you're going into the depths of meditation, things start just coming in. I don't even know how to articulate all that well, but it's very peaceful feeling. It's very warm, and you almost feel like you're connecting to something that's out there that I'm not sure what it is. I don't know what it is in particular, but is there anything that you feel when you go into deeper levels of meditation?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, connecting there, you connect to the higher source of which we are already.
Aren't we all spiritual beings?
Yeah.
I believe that's one thing that meditation's taught me. Like, I'm not religious in any sense of the word at all, but one thing I definitely believe is that we are spiritual beings.
Yeah.
And there's a quote from Bob Proctor. He's like a self-help guru and lecturer, and he says that what is the quote? Oh no, I need to get it off the top of my head. So we are a spiritual being living in a human existence, not a human being with a spirit. So we are the spiritual beings. It's just this existence that we have is in human form, and we get to experience it. But you're dead right. It's like, what is this higher source though? It's quite interesting. And what is that feeling when you feel like you connect with it? Can you describe it?
It's like, it's actual bliss. And it's funny that you asked that, whether it's breath work or meditation, I go to the same place when it's like I hit a level and then I transcend and then I come back. And I know I've gone to a very deep place of like a meditative state when I close my eyes. Do you ever get when you rub your eyes really hard, you can see different patterns? Patterns?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh my God. You took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't explain it there. Patterns. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing these shapes come. And I think it's almost like when your eyes are closed for so long, it's like your brain doesn't really know what's going on. So I think it's trying to visualize something.
Yeah, but I think because we're always here in the physical and we're just seeing all this stuff, we're not seeing energy for what it is.
That's true.
I feel we all have our own type of energy when we close our eyes. So when I go into that deep meditative state, I see waves. It's like water glistening at the top, and that's how I know I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Like when I go up to the mountains and I close my eyes, I only see the ocean and the waves when I'm really calm.
Interesting.
And how I know if I'm ever in a chaotic environment and I don't really feel safe, I'll close my eyes and I'll take deep breaths, even if it's like on a bus or in a shop or something like that, even for a sec. And even if I can't go there, I'll just remind myself that, look, I'm in here as well.
Well, that's the great thing about meditation, I suppose. It teaches the practice of that you can just still your mind in an instant.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the better you get at it as well. And I think it's like one thing that's really important to know about meditation is like you're tapping into your nervous system as well. You know what I mean? You go the parasympathetic or the sympathetic, and the sympathetic is like fight or flight, and then the parasympathetic is real like rest and digest and just be nice and chill. But if you've done it repeatedly where you're meditating on a regular basis, it's like you said, you're on the bus, just tap into it. And it's great because have you ever heard of the I think it's the scale of consciousness?
I'm not sure.
No, but enlightenment would be at the top, peace be there, joy, love. And it's like you're tapping into these frequencies, just
the higher frequencies.
The higher frequencies, you know, down at the bottom it's like maybe hatred or jealousy or whatever.
Yeah, jealousy,
But at the top, it's like a cone shape, goes all the way up, and you have like enlightenment, and just below enlightenment is peace. Like if you're in a state of peace, you're on a very high vibration, because I think you can just take in life at a much greater way. You know what I mean? When you're at peace, it's like things just feel at ease.
Yeah, and you're in control.
You're in control, and I think that control can lead to better connections as well.
100%.
Especially with yourself as well.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I've definitely noticed with you, Meg, even from just meeting you tonight, but also just from your Instagram, is that you're so heavily connected with yourself. And that is so rare to see nowadays. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like to show so much love and compassion and kindness to yourself. It's so beautiful to see because the majority of people, I don't think they even have the awareness or recognize that you can actually be like this with yourself. And once you're like this with yourself, then your whole world changes. You're like this with other people, and it's just incredible that you can bring people up with you, which is just beautiful to witness. So when you're going back to the point I was trying to make, when you're in your deep meditations, you're kind of feeling this bliss come over you. Yeah. More or less.
It is. It's just absolute bliss. And then I actually forget I'm in the physical. That's how I know I've gone back to source, as people would say.
Oh, interesting.
So I done an energy anatomy course a while ago, and it was all about the chakras. But even though it's spiritual, did I say anatomy or autonomy?
You said anatomy.
Anatomy.
I think you said anatomy. Yeah, anatomy, yeah.
So it speaks about all the chakras, teaches you about all the chakras, how they're formed and stuff. But the one part that always stood out to me is going back to source.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, I constantly want to learn. So even though I was doing that course, I was like, no, open another tab. I was like, what's it mean to go back to source? So every time I'm meditating and I go into that state, I'm like, okay, I'm back in that place. And years ago when I closed my eyes, it was chaos. And now when I'm in chaos, I close my eyes. And that's how I knew that meditation was working, because I used to escape in here, and now I'm escaping out there. because in here is that peace.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you just feel this internal peace that no chaos can kind of affect you. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm human. So the reason why I love calling meditation a practice is because you have to practice it in order to excel.
No, there's no other way about it. It's something that doesn't have to be done daily, but it just has to be done often.
Yeah, of course. I don't meditate every single day.
To get the benefits of it anyway, I feel anyway. I think there's such, I feel anyway, personally speaking, a massive difference in my day when I get the meditation done in the morning. It's like, I just feel like a better person. I feel lighter. I think that's a great description of it. When I meditate, I feel this lightness and I feel this, I don't know, just wanting to be closer with people.
Is everything funnier? Like everything's like...
I think you find more joy in life as well. Yeah. Because you actually, when you're clued in, when you become aware, it's like, you want to find things that make you laugh. You want to be a person that people enjoy being around as well, which is really important. I want to move on. So brilliant with the meditation. I want actually an effect of meditation. I don't know if you've ever heard of emotional intelligence. Yeah, you have. Yeah, I think that's, I think it's so key for emotional maturity and just the maturity of a person. I think it's something that should be taught in school. Like I believe, like meditation and movement and all these practices should be taught to kids.
Definitely,
and not for us just to stumble across. Like I can't imagine a world we live in if everybody meditated. Imagine how connected we would be.
We'd all be going around hugging and kissing each other.
I don't know where we would get to. Imagine where would we get to? I haven't a clue. I don't know. But I think emotional intelligence is really important because it's made up of kind of different components. You got you got empathy, motivation is one. Obviously self-awareness, social awareness is another one. And I think this is something I witness even with yourself at the moment. Like you have a higher purpose. And this is like emotional intelligence as well. You have a higher purpose when you are meditating on a regular basis. Like what I noticed with you, obviously you're trying to build a community at the moment, which is beautiful to see. And since I started following your page, it's grown bit by bit. But I think it's just when you are more mindful of what you're doing, you become much more focused. And when you become more focused, it's like you start to see the opportunities in life. Meditation is almost like pulling back the veil. It really is.
Absolutely.
But I was saying, my question about emotional intelligence here was, do you notice a difference? I know we kind of touched on it already a small bit. Do you notice a difference in your emotions or how you kind of acknowledge or interpret your emotions now that you have done meditation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
And something that is important to me is self-reflection, to think of how I've changed. I can tap into, I know when I'm feeling emotion, I know when it's about to arise. Yeah. And I'll stop and I'll say, okay, what made me feel that way? What just made me feel that way? And I can actually tap into it instead of waiting for an explosion like I used to. Yeah. And then say, I actually should have listened to myself a while ago. But when I meditate, when I breathe in, it's like I breathe in anything that ever stressed me out and then I let it go. But I don't just focus on letting all my thoughts go. I ask myself, how am I feeling right now? And when you're holding your heart and really thinking and you breathe, it's like the answers just come to you. Okay, maybe I'm feeling frustrated. Am I feeling jealous? Did something frustrate me? Yeah. And I answer myself honestly. That's the one thing. It's like you don't really have to think too much. The answers come.
The answers are there. It's like this wisdom is already here already. It just takes tapping into it.
It is.
For you to get there.
And I think as well with your approach to people, with conversations, with relationships, it benefits everything. Like
that's massive.
Even now in my relationship, if something's bothering me, I won't be texting. I'd say no. I wait till I see him. If something's wrong, I say, look, this really bothered me. Even with my, I don't know if you read the 4 agreements. The first agreement is
Ruiz.
Be impeccable with your word.
Be impeccable with your word, yeah.
Whether it's to yourself or somebody else. So I try my best with communication now. And this all links to meditation. When I'm saying something, I start the sentence with, look, I feel, or this is the story I'm telling myself, instead of saying, look, you're after doing this and you done this wrong.
Like how would anyone respond? Like if you got told that, like you're just being put down there, you would not respond well. So I think you just mentioned it there. What you construct your sentences different. It's much more open. It's not as critical. It's more inviting. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it comes from a place of kindness. It's just you're more socially aware and your social skills are heightened. Yeah. That's one thing I've noticed as well. Your social skills are on a much greater scale when you're meditating. And literally, I just want to mention again, I think it comes back to just being more mindful. Yeah. And you mentioned as well, we were talking about just Alan Watts before we got going. Like, I just think you become more mindful and aware of everything that goes in your life. You actually realize how to use your voice as well. Yeah. And I think that's the most powerful instrument that anyone can own, is just how you speak. You know what I mean? And that's obviously what you're doing at the moment as well. Is there any other part of like emotional intelligence? Like, would you find yourself quite empathetic person?
I'm a big empath.
Yeah, empath.
Like,
yeah,
I seen someone eating a McDonald's on their own the other day, and I cried my eyes out walking down the escalator.
Oh, really?
Like, to an extreme sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, I'm an empath because I understand, like, from doing the sharing circles and group meditations, we all use our voice to share.
That is
and
beautiful.
something that is really important to me is, like, we'll pass around a crystal, and only when you have the crystal will you share your voice, to respect each other's space and awareness.
Yeah.
So when I'm telling a story, I can see people propping up, you know, because they're all relating.
How beautiful is that people are recognizing as you speak?
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Because when I have a problem shared is a problem halved, because what you might think, oh God, I'm carrying this for so long, I'm the only one that's going through it. There could be 10 people in the room that go, oh my God, same. And that's the importance of sharing, because you learn that you're not alone in this world. And that's my aspiration in life, is for people to realize that they're never alone in this world, and that we can relate in so many aspects, even if it's scary, or you might feel like, oh God, I'm really ashamed about that. To work on shame and guilt is very hard, but when you meditate, it brings you back down to that level ground of, oh, okay, everything is all right, and no one is judging me. We're our biggest critics.
Definitely so, yeah.
In our heads.
Oh, 100%. Do you feel, kind of going away from the emotional intelligence side of things, that your own confidence has grown a lot since you started meditating?
If it's even possible to grow more, but yeah.
Yeah. You've always just been this confident, have you?
Yeah, like I laugh and say that because I actually have. Yeah, I look back to when we were kids. Again, it goes back to my mum having the camera set up and it's just recording.
So it's always just been like that?
Always been like that in my family. Yeah, you've just always had the floor to do what you want. When I wanted to drop out of college, my mum was like, yeah, she'd never react and be like, that's crazy. Now, my mum had us when she was very young, so I think that was the thing as well. But
she can relate to you in age.
Yeah, like even thinking back into school, like I got the lead role in a play when I was younger, and then in school I always wanted to do the extracurriculum stuff.
Yeah.
And I was always like, oh, why don't you talk to her? I was trying to be the mediator for things, and I loved speaking. Yeah. I remember at the end of year ceremony, I had a speech, and I literally had it in my hand like this. And then when I started talking, I was like, fuck that. And I just done the speech straight off the bat, because I think it's when I feel called and I allow my energy to take over. It feels natural. When I have something written, I felt like that 2 days ago. I don't feel like that right now. So I just go with how I feel.
Just go with the flow of it. Yeah,
I just go with the flow, but I feel like everyone can be confident. It's just about knowing what you have to offer to the world and seeing your worth. It depends on who you surround yourself with as well.
That's massive, yeah. People that bring you up.
100%.
Yeah, we talked about this recently as well. Your circle is so important. Yeah. You know, that can go both ways. Like, if you surround your circle with people, like, the thing is, like, I think it always comes back to awareness. Like, you have to be so aware of the people that are around you. Are they really being supportive of you? Are they bringing you up? Are they as ambitious as you as well? And it's very hard to almost break free of that if you're no insight at all. You don't even realise what's going on. Would you say, has your circle of friends changed a lot over the years? Has it just constantly changed? Like, I do feel with meditation as well, like there is a lot of personal growth there. Like, and you're continuing to develop yourself on a very regular basis because of the heightened awareness. It's just this continuous seeking and trying to explore and just get better and better. Yeah. Have you found that your circle has just constantly changed, or how's it been?
Yeah, like 100% it's changed.
Yeah.
Like, definitely. As we were speaking about before we got started there, about our gut feeling and our intuition tells us when someone or something is not right. Yeah. And the reality is, not everybody's going to want to see you grow. Not everybody's going to want to see you shine. And I shared a video about this a few months ago. All of us could have the same recipe in the world, but none of our dishes would taste the same, ever. Yeah. And to me, that's so important, isn't it? Yeah. It's so good. But you could have friends that are your pals and stuff, and then when you start to shine, it's not that you're outshining them, you're outshining yourself. And if they see that as a threat to them, that's a reflection on them and not you. Yeah. So if they're okay with leaving you behind or not wanting to help you grow, then you go your separate ways. I'd rather have no friends for a period of time while I'm working on myself to then make the connections with the new version of me that exists. Yeah. Because some people pull you back and hinder you from growing just because...
Is that from what they say or what they do? Or how
from what they say, what they do, their energy, not seeing you as much. It could be they're drinking, you're not drinking anymore. And again, a big thing for me, as we were saying earlier on, is live and let live.
Yeah.
Don't judge them because they're still drinking. Hold yourself, hold your own, continue to do you, but don't look back.
But sometimes in life, something doesn't serve you. You know what I mean? You just have to let it be. And it's just, like you said, you just know yourself that you're not better than them for not doing something that you're not doing. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. Is there any other practices that you have that would almost be like a calling towards your higher self? Would there, like, apart from meditation, is there anything else that you work on?
Giving it socks. Dancing my ass off.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Like, I need to shake it out, because when I'm still for too long, like, I'm not messing. There's some mornings I'm like, oh, I feel like meditating because I have the morning to myself. And I'm like, like, the eyes are like this. I'm like, no, I'll go down and turn music on. Yeah. I'll dress how I want, whether it's dressed or not dressed, and just dance in the kitchen and just let it flow. Because do you know we're the only species that don't shake off tension? You'll see two ducks, right, after having an argument, and you'll see them flapping their wings.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Or you'll see a dog shake off tension.
Yeah, I was thinking Bruno there, yeah.
We have an argument, do we do this?
Why are we all so still? Like, I think there's a place for stillness, don't get me wrong, because we mentioned meditation so much. But then it's like the opposite end of things where you need, like, I've fallen in love since doing meditation as well, is just movement. It's just move my body. And it's like, one thing I noticed, because I hadn't done it all over Christmas, where, like, I love exercising, but movement's separate. And I know obviously you do a bit of yoga as well. It's like when you move with intention, it's just this release of energy, and it feels so freeing. Yeah. Because we're living in this body, you know what I mean? This is one of the greatest, machines, or I'm going to say it is a machine, or it's just a great place to live, but you have to release the tension that's within, because if that's stored up, it comes...
It's like the energy becomes stagnant.
Energy, that's what it is. Energy's trapped.
It's trapped inside you. So, for example, say if I'm sitting in my room for a week and I'm feeling really crap, like, oh God, nothing's going on, nothing's going well or whatever. First thing, have you moved? No. Have you meditated? No. Okay. Well, don't go and ask the doctor what's wrong until you do them first two things.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like, you need to move your body and dance it out, and it feels uncomfortable. Yeah. You know why? Because you're so weird growing up and stuff. Your mind is programmed to think it's uncomfortable to express yourself. Society doesn't want you to do that. Yeah. So when you start letting go and doing it, it's like the most freeing thing ever.
It's liberating, isn't it? It really is. I think I'd love that, because it's like you have no concerns of what anyone thinks of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're just... I think a sign of a healthy soul is one that expresses itself and that is free of judgment. It does not care. Who cares? Like, I love... You put up videos of you dancing. People admire that because no one else will do it, but you're trying to encourage other people to do it. There's a great kind of domino effect that will happen. You know what I mean? But it's like... Just do you. Just you. Because people love you more for just being the real version of you, and you're not trying to pretend to be someone else, or not even something worse is suppressing that. Yeah. Imagine you were like, oh, what do people judge me for dancing? No one gives a fuck.
Yeah, no one actually cares. And then it comes back to your circle and your environment. Yeah. If you're in an environment that doesn't serve your life and you constantly feel trapped, change it. Go to a dance class. Go to a meditation class. Even if home is really hard, I understand how it feels. Yeah. Go somewhere else. Home can be amazing sometimes. Then you're probably going through a hard time. You don't relate to your mom or your sister or whatever. And then you'll find your way back to each other when the time is right. But you have control of your life of looking elsewhere,
Exactly. That's the thing. And I think it just needs to be done. So, going back to the higher self question. Yeah. Meditation's one. You love to dance. You got a yoga. Did you qualify in some sort of yoga?
Kundalini yoga.
Yeah. How long did that take to get qualified in?
So, a week. I done it online.
Yeah? No way.
So I was watching stuff on YouTube. I done it online. It's called the Centre of Excellence that I done it on.
Oh, class.
But I'm in the middle of going to Kundalini classes, and I'm actually attending.
What's the difference with Kundalini yoga?
So normal yoga, we'll say. Yeah. There's a lot of movement, and you can play music in the background, and you're stretching the body out. Yeah. Kundalini yoga, there's a lot of chanting.
Okay.
You've probably heard of fire breathing.
I have actually I haven't.
It's really releasing. So your Kundalini energy we all have within. Yeah. It's our energy within. It's our life force. Okay. So basically, you're holding different poses for a long time and you're chanting. Yeah. So there's different facilitators for Kundalini yoga around the world.
Is it intense?
Yeah, it can be intense. It can be, but it depends. The practice can be so different from one instructor to the other, from one teacher to the other. Like I say. But you can be sitting in one position, and it depends on what way your hands are or your arms to how the energy is flowing through the body. Yeah. Russell Brand actually does a really funny 5-minute introduction to Kundalini yoga, but it's actually everything he does is right. It's just so over exaggerated and it's funny. But like, yeah, you chant and you breathe and it's just really letting it out.
Okay, interesting.
For example, at my meditation circles, one thing I always say is when you breathe in, people go, I say,
get it out.
I say, sigh and let it out. Yeah.
So relaxing, isn't it?
It is, to do a deep breath out. But Kundalini is absolutely amazing.
That's crazy. That's mad.
Yeah, I feel like something awakens in me when I practice it. So
and do you do it much at the moment?
I do in my own time, and I don't really have a lot of my own time in the mornings especially. So I'm attending classes, and in time I will be able to offer classes to others. Yeah, but in my own time, I want to embody the practice fully before I share with other people.
Of course.
To me, it's important. I don't want to just qualify in something and then be like, who's coming along and I'm learning.
You have to be seen doing it.
Yeah,
like you said, practice what you preach.
Yeah, and I think it's also important. You don't have to perfect something to share with the world. And again, you don't need what is it called? A qualification to be able to share stuff with people.
Exactly, yeah. Especially this day and age where I suppose information is so free, you could literally, you choose one thing, it could be anything. Yeah,
but that's just my life. I don't ever want anyone feeling like they can't go do something.
Exactly,
I just take my time when I feel the time is right. I'll
so
share.
you have a lot of things that connect with yourself. So this higher self is meditating, is dancing around, is doing yoga. Any other last practices you like to journal or anything?
I do like journaling, but I speak a lot. So sometimes if I'm ever going through a state of like, I'm not really feeling like I want to share my voice or I'm suppressing a lot of things, I'll journal a lot. Okay. I like to journal in the morning to plan my day. How am I feeling today? I do prompts. Yeah. But like writing pages comes when the time is right. I don't do journaling every single day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've covered a lot of bases there anyway. Movement, meditation, you're ticking a lot of boxes. Tell me, there's a question that I have that I want to get out because I don't know anything about it at all. Tell me, what is the divine feminine?
It's very funny that you asked that because I'm actually practicing on allowing my masculine to come out at the moment because...
You're practicing this at the moment? Yeah. I'm
trying to think of a good way to explain it.
Hitting the gym 5 times a week?
Yeah. I'm going to start lifting really heavy weights now. And,
sorry, explain this. What is it? Your
divine feminine, when you're a woman, you're a female, you have your divine feminine energy within you, and you can awaken it through sensual dancing, through feeling yourself up, through masturbating, anything that you feel like connected to yourself.
Oh, interesting.
And when I say that, people can be like, oh my God, that's absolutely nuts. It's not. Everyone masturbates, just no one talks about it.
That's so true.
And even when I say the word, everyone's like, laughing. I'm like, it's normal.
Do you know, I think it's because we're so awkward about these like sexual topics. I think, and what I love, even just talking about it here now, you're breaking down barriers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people do it. You know, the whole reason why we're here is to procreate, is to have sex and keep the species going. Yeah. So there's no harm in even talking about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But I also feel with the divine feminine, everyone has their own interpretation. For example, I'm me, like I'm 27, I'm in a loving relationship and I'm absolutely in love with myself. Yeah. There could be someone that's on a journey with just falling in love with themselves, and divine feminine couldn't be so out there. And there could be someone that just had a baby and they're very in touch with their body, and the feminine could be different. Okay. It depends on the energy in the body. So I don't want to define the divine feminine if it's different for everybody.
Okay, so it's a different interpretation for each and every person.
Yeah, but we all have it within us. It's like our strength of like showing up as a woman and being able to support each other. Yeah. Like people say the reason why women don't rule the world is because it would be an absolutely amazing place. Because when women come together, amazing things happen.
Yeah, it could be true, yeah. And then, but I think, don't say masculine traits are all got to do with leadership. Is that seen in the divine feminine to be a leader?
Absolutely.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but you'll never see someone that's like, there's not a hierarchy, in my opinion, anyways. No. Like, for example, I went to an event last year on the beach and we were all dancing around in the nip, in the sea, and literally people were looking at us like they're crazy. Maharamore Beach. It was absolutely amazing, but it was just all the divine feminine being able to awaken that energy, and it was just flowing, and we were doing body painting, we were laughing and dancing and hugging. That is what we're meant to do.
I think, isn't it so weird that like it comes across weird, and the reason why it comes across weird, I'm not saying it is weird, but I'm saying it comes across weird because it's not seen. Like, I think we've this almost over sexualization of a woman's body.
Absolutely.
I think of all bodies probably, and the reason why is because we keep them covered so much.
Yeah.
How freeing is it to be dancing around fully naked on a beach, not giving an absolute fuck, you know what I mean? Just enjoying life. How freeing was that? Like, how rare is that experience as well?
It is rare if you don't live by that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, now my circle has changed, and me and my really good friend Jazz, like, we embody that. Yeah. Like, if we go out, we're just like, let's just get in the nip and let's just do something. Obviously depends where we are as well, you know.
Of course.
But from growing up, it's shunned upon to show off your body because society wants you to cover up because Jesus, they're a show off. You know, when you're younger, if someone has a nice ass or a nice body, like, oh, she's a show off, and we judge each other. Yeah. We shouldn't do that. There's no such thing as a perfect body.
That's true, yeah.
And as women, we should be able to flaunt ourselves. But there are people that over-sexualise us. Like, I was only speaking about this the other day. There's some days that I know I look shit hot and I'm walking down the road, and it's annoying because I get beeped at and I get people, you look great. So some days I'll just put on a puffy jacket because I actually just don't want the attention. I know a lot of women that experience that.
That's so common though, isn't it?
Just let us live. Stop beeping and catcalling us, please.
I think it's no, I'm not saying that I do it, right? But I think from a man's point of view, they get such a, I think it's a hit of dopamine when they see a very attractive woman walking down the street, and they're just, it's like when you have no awareness, you're just acting from a place of urge. So if you see a very attractive woman walking down the street, if you're a male, you want to get their attention to let them know that they're looking a certain way. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying at all that's right, but it's just how men have almost always been. I'm trying to defend it, but at the same time, it's almost not a natural thing to do. Well, but it just happens though, doesn't it?
It does.
And I'm not saying it's right though. It's not right. Obviously, it's not right. You should have more control over yourself not to do that. But at the same time, it's always going to happen.
Yeah, in your scruffy white work van when you're driving down the road and your high vis, beep beep. I'm not going to be like, hi. I'm just like, oh my God.
It just creeps you out then.
It does, and I know it scares a lot of girls as well.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah.
But I just said it's awareness.
Yeah.
Like, if someone grew up with a dad that always beeped at girls and stuff, what are they going to do?
They're going to do the same thing.
Beep at girls.
Yeah. And see, people just act from a place of emotion and urge all the time.
They do. And look, at the same time, I find humour in a lot of things. So I just find shit like that funny. I don't take it as like, oh, it's a reflection of who I am, you know what I mean? No. Whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
I wouldn't blame him beeping at me anyway. You know what I mean?
The confidence shining through once again, mate. Tell me, I want to touch on your community. So what happened? Is there a name on the community again? Did you name it? Not just yet?
No, we just come together.
Just come together.
Yeah.
And it is growing a lot. What happens in this circle? What is it all based around meditation? Are you reading cards, or you're holding crystals and all?
To be honest, it depends on the day. It depends on my energy and how I want to hold the space. But the weekly meditations that I'm doing now, I just call them candlelit meditations or evenings, because it depends. Everyone arrives, we get into circle. For me, it's important that I'm in circle with everybody. And just because I'm holding the space doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else. Doesn't mean I have more knowledge. I just brought everyone together. And what creates the magic is everyone being there individually.
But you need a facilitator.
Yeah.
So that's what you're given.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So, when we all come together, when we arrive, I have the mat set up, I have the candles, the incense. For me, everything is very important to activate all your senses, your sight. It's very relaxing when you see candles, you know. I have the room nice and warm, I can smell incense, you know. But when everyone's there, we do some breathing, I do a long guided meditation, and on the day it depends. Like, it could be focusing on the art of letting go or forgiveness, and we could be focusing on like a manifestation meditation, which we do. It's
beautiful, because these are things that people don't normally even think about. You know what I mean? And you're giving this space where people are coming in to where you're facilitating, and it's like you're giving them a chance to do something that they would never even think about doing, because you've experienced the benefit of doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you're just trying to pass it on, and it's starting to grow a bit more.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It is actually, yeah. Like, it went from, I done my first workshop last year, and now I'm doing weekly meditations. And now people want different days during the week, and soon it's going to be a full-time thing. And I'm really grateful for it, and I love it.
Yeah.
But the reason I feel like I can actually hold that space more than once a week is because I'm looking after my own energy. I'm living in alignment with my values, whereas before I was trying to unlearn things and practice, and there was stuff in the way.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming to a more calm state of mind to be able to hold that space.
Yeah. So do you feel
you were given too much before. There was too much going on in your own life. Is that what you're trying to say?
In my own life, I was unlearning things. Like I was, for example, I could have been out drinking a lot before. I was maybe going through a breakup and stuff, and then I'm coming trying to hold space while I'm working on the hurt in my heart.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
And now I count my blessings every day I wake up. I'm in a very healthy relationship. I've such good friends around me. I'm at a great place with my family. The job will get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are
You're
just
very
going
ambitious
good.
though as well, obviously. Like you were saying there, you're hoping to just expand it out and well, it's obviously, if it's building now, it's only going to get bigger.
It is. And then sometimes I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I need to do things. And that's when I'm like, meditate. You
Yeah.
need meditation today because I want to do a million things. But yeah, when it comes to growing the community, it just happened organically.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel-
beautiful though.
yeah.
Like, why would you ever have to force something if it's just going to, it's going to happen?
And that's one thing I could put my hand on my heart and say is I never force anything.
Yeah.
And there's been times that I've organised circles or meditations and I cancelled the day before because I emailed and says, look, I don't have the energy to hold space today.
And
because-
people respect you even more for that.
Yeah.
Although the annoyance are probably not seeing you, they're like, oh, well, at least she's being honest with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I can't come when I'm really upset and people are looking for me for guidance or just to hold the space, you know? And
Yeah.
look, I don't have to have my shit together all the time, but yeah, having that community is so important for me because I learned so much. I've made really good friends from it as well.
Yeah.
And it's magical. I love coming together and we have to crack.
That's
We have so much
beautiful,
fun.
Meg.
Yeah.
No men don't know.
I call them sharing circles. I don't
Oh,
call
yeah.
them
Oh,
women
yeah.
circles.
So-
Yeah.
so it's open.
There's
Oh,
been
interesting.
men that have come.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. Interesting.
So you're more than welcome.
Oh yeah, geez, you might see me there at some stage. Isn't it crazy though? Well, not so crazy, but I think it's more, even the meditation side of things, it's more associated with women more than men. Do you find in this country, or in general? Am I right in saying that, or do you see a mix, or is it just
I'm actually just
I think women I find are more.
in fairness, there is a lot of women holding space at the moment. Yeah.
They're more connected with themselves more than men are. Like, I don't think the majority of men aren't like a very masculine thing almost to say, but it's like they're not so much in tune with their emotions the way women are. Obviously, I think women are a bit more emotional, but they also have a deeper connection with themselves. Where men are just so they're occupied with different things or something else is going on. But
It's the masculine.
Yeah, I think it is a masculine trait. But do you see maybe, is there more women involved in the space? Well, you've just kind of witnessed here in Ireland as well. Would there be a kind of more women involved in meditation?
There is definitely.
Yeah.
If I wanted to ever go to a meditation or like a cacao ceremony or yoga, I'd easily find a woman holding the space. But at the same time, I know some absolutely powerful men that hold the space. But again, there's not many of them.
Many at all.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But it's not really all that surprising either.
Yeah.
Don't think so. Tell me, many ambitions for this year. Is there any grand goals that you have set? Or, I know you mentioned the community there, but is there anything else going on in your own head?
I'm actually organising a really, really fun event at the moment.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and it's quite big, so it's going to be one of my biggest things that I've done, I think.
Deadly.
Yeah, I feel I can share it. I don't mind. I'm a very open book.
Yeah.
I won't share the name though.
That's okay. Yeah, don't need to share it.
So basically, the event is going to be a day of women coming together, and I feel like a lot of the time we're doing like meditation practices. There's a lot of speak and talk about spirituality, which is amazing. But I want to know why women are doing what they're doing right now. Where have you come from? Like, why are you now a running coach? Why are you doing yoga? What was your line in the sand?
Yeah.
So I'm organising an event. It's called Let's Be Real, and we're going to get women together and I'm going to interview them. It's going to be like a live podcast type of vibe.
That's class.
And for example, it could be my sister Abby. She's a singer and she's absolutely amazing at what she does. But people probably don't know where she's come from. What's your story? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
And what were you doing before that? For example, for me, why are you doing meditation now? What was your line of the stand? Like the breakup or something really shit that happened in my life.
You just want to get to the deeper meaning of what's
Let's get
going
to
on.
the deeper meaning because it's easy to put on this facade. And I'm not saying everyone puts on a facade, but to build up your profile to be this amazing person online that I know many people are. It's not always fake for people because some people are just absolutely amazing and they embody everything they do.
Yeah.
But I want to know, reel it back. Like, share your story with everybody because it's nice to be vulnerable in a safe environment with people because everyone's just, I feel like there's just offerings here and there and everyone's just sharing all these lovely things, rainbows. But let's go back and tell me the shit stuff about your life because I want to get real and I want you to inspire other people to know that they can come from a place where they might feel is impossible to get out of right now.
That's brilliant, mate. Jeez, that's going to be a powerful space that you hold.
It is, and I'm very excited. I have an amazing lineup, and
because with that, like, how often, I suppose, just in general, do people open themselves up? You know what I mean? Because vulnerability is something that you only really do when you feel safe. You know what I mean? And if you can create that space for people, you start bringing people to a different level as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was at a women's circle held by my friend Kira. It was the first women's circle I was at. I think it was was it a year ago now?
Yeah.
And one thing that she shared, she gave us a piece of paper at the end, and there was a quote by Marianne Williamson. And what she says is, our presence automatically liberates others. So when we're in a space with others, we could be sitting there and held back, and someone starts sharing their story, and you'll see people will slowly start to uncross their arms because you're closed. I don't want to share. And it's down to body language and energy. You'll see people just start doing that. And they're like, oh, okay, he's sharing. I never thought he'd share, or she. And then when people start opening up, you want to open up. And it's like, you literally are fucking dying to get off your seat then to share your story.
You're freeing yourself, aren't you?
It's why it's important to share our story. No matter if it's shit or you're crying or whatever, that's just a release of emotions. And if someone ever judges someone for releasing the emotions, it's all got to do with them.
Oh yeah, it's just a projection of any insecurities that they may have.
It is.
Yeah, it really
and that's
is.
what the 4 agreements teach it as well, is not to take anything personally, because it's a projection of what people are feeling
But it's
inside.
also like you interpret the words that are said to you, and if
Yeah.
you give them no meaning,
You can't be offended, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You choose to be offended.
but that's so interesting. That's going to be a...
I'm
Jeez, Meg,
so excited.
You're so busy. You have so much going on.
I am, but you know what I learned since last year, because I was just real on the ball last year, like getting loads of things going, and now kind of like I'm spacing everything out, so I have time for adventure in between.
Exactly.
Like the mountains, I need the mountains. If I've gone a month without the mountains, you know something's wrong. Check in there. You all right?
You're dead right. Listen, I want to actually briefly touch on, because we all use it nowadays, is the phone constantly, and we kind of touched on it before we got going. But how would you describe your relationship with your phone? Because there's one thing you said before that we got going that I loved that you said. I think it's really important to put in place. But just the first question: what's your relationship with your phone? Like, a healthy one?
Yeah, it is a healthy one. Like, I love being present on Instagram, but I feel like I've just been very aware of my phone since a long time ago. Yeah. As I had said to you, I have no notifications on my phone except WhatsApp, just because that's how I interact with people.
Everyone needs to have that, because
like, turn off your notifications.
It's just a big ball of stress.
It is. And like, as we were saying, if we're sitting here and I have my phone sitting there, it's like I'm waiting for something. Like, stop waiting for stuff. Be in the present. I turned off my notifications. I haven't had Facebook, I'd say, in about 12 years. I don't have Twitter. I don't have TikTok. I only have Instagram. And I have my notifications turned off. I am in control. It's like, if you wake up and you're meditating and you're practicing being in control in your own mind, put that into practice in everything that you do.
Well, see, I think meditation also, it relates so much to self-discipline. Because if
Absolutely.
you can just sit down, still your body, still your mind, all other areas of your life you'll try to implement to get better at as well.
Yeah, and you'll notice that your phone is irritating. Like, I can share stuff on Instagram, but I control what I reply to or my response to things and how often I'm on it. Don't get me wrong, there could be days that I'm on it for hours and I'm like, all right, I'm on my phone too much and my head gets sore. Yeah. But yeah, turn your notifications off. Stop being so accessible to people. Turn your phone off vibrate, and see the way people have the Apple Watches.
It's too
like,
much.
They're like, I'm not on my phone. I'm like, but you've every notification's popping up on your wrist.
I love it. Well, I love it for, I know, the activity side of things. I don't wear it.
For running and stuff.
I do think it's too much. Like you said, if your phone's not in your hand, you're receiving messages just constantly through, and it's a distraction. Like, we're living in a world where people are so distracted, and I think that's also contributing to people feeling a lack of connection. Because if there's a phone, like I said, like, if you had your phone on the table and it starts buzzing now, your attention's gone. It's not in this conversation. It's on the phone right now. And it's like, it's almost, I think it's kind of rude. Like, even the same, if my phone started vibrating, like, I would feel bad about that, you know? You're trying to be present with someone.
No, you're dead right.
Give your full attention to the situation and just be here. And look, be here. It's one of the key, most important elements of meditation. That you just be here now. You're in the present moment. That's why it's called the present. You're not, you're not being distracted, which is just not a good way to be. Tell me, I think we've covered all bases, Meg.
Have we?
I think
I'd
so.
sit here for days.
I know you would. You talk for hours, you would. I've absolutely loved the conversation.
Your man that has his own podcast.
I know. I'm trying to draft up any more questions, but I think we did cover more or less everything that I was hoping to cover. You are starting your own podcast soon. Is that right? Yeah. What's that going to be called?
Lighten Up.
I'm
so excited because we have an episode.
Yep.
We just need to edit.
Takes a bit of doing. It'll be grand with it though, because your audio you're saying is synced with the video. Yeah, happy days, it'll be grand.
Yeah, I'm actually buzzing.
That's gonna be massive.
Yeah, we've thought about it for a while, and we're like, oh fuck it, just put it out there. Life's too short, isn't it?
It is. So the thing is as well, I always say no one cares. Like you put it out there, you're not like people are just gonna see it, but you know we get so self-conscious when we post things, and I still do it today. You know what I mean? I'm putting something down, we're gonna checking it 4 or 5 times before I post it. At the end of the day, no one cares unless you're not offending anyone. That's okay. If like just put it out there and let the world see it. People love you for it because you're showing your personality. Yeah. And your personality is your personal reality.
And we think too much. We think too much about things before we do it. Like, fuck it, just go for it.
Exactly. Like you said, go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Meg Wrenn, it's been an absolute pleasure. You're
Thank
a role
so
model.
much.
You're a role model to so many. And just keep doing what you're doing. I'm loving your page, and I'm sure there's many more great things to come.
Oh, absolutely. Keep your eyes peeled.
I will indeed. Listen,
if anyone wants to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on my website, Meg Wrenn. No, it's not. It's meganwrenn.com,
or
just on Instagram, Meg Wrenn.
Happy days. Meg, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you
so much.
No
problem.
All the best.
Bye now.
Bye.